Hi guys, let's do some more taal. Good practice. Okay. 5.2.1. Gee die meervoud van hemp. When it's one hemp ends on a D, what happens? This is like an exception, guys, and you have to know this exception, and they like to test exceptions. So, when hemp is in the meervoud, it is not, let me actually make it big here, it is not hemp-de. It is hem-de. So the P falls away, and then it is correct. Okay. Skryf die sin in die leidende vorm. Okay. I always say when it comes to leidende vorm, identify the tense your sentence is in. Die kinders gooi die gemors in sakke. That is clearly present tense. So now you automatically know that your verb 1 is going to be word. Okay, so that's in the back of your mind. Then you need to be able to determine your stompie, because when it comes to leidende vorm, your stompie needs to be impeccable, right? Because you need to now, you're going to be swapping things around here. So, die kinders, that's the subject. Gooi, that's the verb. Die gemors, that's the object. Where they're throwing it in sakke. So that's the place. So, in leidende vorm, we are going to start with the object. And our object we've identified is die gemors. So we start with die gemors. Okay, then after die gemors, we have a verb 1. And our verb 1 has already been identified because we've now identified our tense, which is the present tense, and we've identified that our verb 1 must be word. So die gemors, word. Okay, now I don't want you to get this wrong. Teachers are teaching it by saying, oh, it should be word deur, is deur, sal deur, and that is incorrect because you're missing a very, very important step. When you do it that way, you are missing your time and you're missing your manner. So after you've inserted your verb 1, which is word, the next step is to add time or to add manner. But luckily in this sentence, we don't have either. And once you've done that, now you add deur, the subject. So deur always comes with the subject. It doesn't come with your word and your is and your sal. It's always deur die subject. So, die gemors word always deur die subject. What is our subject? So, deur die kinders. Then, we now add our place. And our place here is in sakke. So, we just put in sakke. And the last thing we add is our verb in our present tense sentence, which is gooi. We must not forget about that. And that will be plus the verb. So, in sakke, ge, plus the verb, gegooi. But you must always remember that some verbs do not get a ge. When it starts with, for example, be, her, ont, mis, etc. But gooi doesn't start with any of those, so we can add a ge to it. So then it's gegooi. So let's do it again. Die gemors, object. Verb 1 is either word, is of sal. And we use word here because our sentence, our bedrijvende sentence, is in the present tense. So die gemors, word. Then we check. Do we have time? Do we have manner? And we don't, so we move on. After that step, after checking time and manner and inserting it if we do have it, you then go deur die subject. What was our subject? Die kinders. So it's always deur, in this case, die kinders. Then after that, you add your place. What was our place? In sakke. Perfect. And then last but not least, you add your bedrijvende sentence verb, which now becomes your verb 2, and you attach to the verb if it doesn't start with the her, mis, ont, etc. I do have a video on that. So, here it is gegooi. And if there was an infinitive, the infinitive would go to the infinitive would go after the verb and you would put a full stop. Okay, so die gemors is in sakke gegooi. The next word, or the next question, gee die verlede deelwoord. So remember, deelwoorde is our participles. We get teenwoordige deelwoorde and we get verlede deelwoorde. Teenwoordige deelwoord is when the action is still happening, whereas verlede deelwoord, the action has already happened. So here they're asking us for a verlede deelwoord. And what you have to remember about verlede deelwoord is they can be swak or they can be sterk. I'm just going to put it here for you. They can be a swak verlede deelwoord or you can have a sterk verlede deelwoord. But there is a video on that, so you can go check it out. So we have to change gebruik to a verlede deelwoord. Gebruik ends with a K. Look at the ending. So when your word ends with a K, as a verlede deelwoord, you're going to add a T. So what happens is we have here a swak verlede deelwoord. Gebruik will become gebruikte. Okay, next one. Gee die verkleining van die woord heining. That rhymes, guys. Okay, so what is our word here? It's heining. I'm just going to do it at the top here. 5.2.4. We have heining. So our rule is that when it ends with an NG, okay, things start to change, right? But it depends on if it's a short vowel or a long vowel. If you say that word heining, it's long. So when it's a long vowel, what happens is you write down everything up until the end. You literally don't look at the G. And what happens is in place of the G, you are going to have a ki. So heining becomes heiningkie. Okay. Skryf die sin in die onkenning, in the negative. Remember, negative is nie. Okay. Die kinders is al klaar met die werk. So what happens here? First and foremost, al has to change to nog nie. So now you have die kinders is nog nie klaar met die werk, and always nie at the end because it's nie. So die kinders is nog nie klaar met die werk nie, full stop. Last one. Skryf die sin hieronder oor in die korrekte woordorde. What is woordorde? Stompie. So literally, just make sure that it's in this exact order. So, die twee kinders werk fliks in die parkie elke Saterdag. Okay, fliks, that is fast, so that is manne. In die parkie, that is a place, so that's plek. Elke Saterdag, that's a time period or a time of day, so that is state. So, die kinders werk, what comes first? Time. So elke middag, then manne, so elke middag, fliks, and then place, in die parkie. So die twee kinders werk, elke Saterdag, fliks, in die parkie. And that is it, guys. I will see you in the next one.